Hello Lakers fan, if you are one of those who are always up to date with the news about our Lakers, then you need to stay tuned to what is coming up on our Lakers news channel. I am preparing exclusive coverage on the possible signings of Lakers, and what I can tell you is that rumors are catching fire on social media, and if you don't want to miss any information, stay tuned. We have exclusive news every day. If you are a true Lakers and don't want to be left out of the news, be sure to subscribe. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Let's go to the video.
Warriors reportedly eyeing blockbuster trade for LeBron James. LeBron James in a Warriors jersey? Just a few years ago, that would have sounded impossible. Now, it might not be all that far-fetched. As the 2025-26 NBA season approaches, LeBron's future with the Los Angeles Lakers is more uncertain than ever. And one team that has quietly, but consistently, kept tabs on his situation? The Golden State Warriors. Yes, those Warriors. According to ESPN's Ramona Shelburne and Brian Windhorst, Golden State has internally discussed the possibility of making a trade offer for LeBron James. This isn't the first time the idea has surfaced. The Warriors reportedly explored a similar scenario last season. But now, the noise is louder, and the interest is real. A new chapter for LeBron? Fueling this speculation is a statement from LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, after James picked up his $52.6 million player option for the 2025-26 season. Paul made it clear, LeBron still wants to win now, and he's watching closely to see how the Lakers handle this offseason. Translation: if LA isn't serious about contending, LeBron could be open to moving on. And let's be honest, if there's one team that could tempt him to waive his no-trade clause, it's Golden State. The chance to team up with Stephen Curry, a longtime friend and respected rival, could be the perfect storyline for LeBron's final championship push. But there's a catch, and his name is Jimmy Butler. Pulling off a trade for LeBron is no small feat. His massive contract means that any deal would require significant salary matching, and for the Warriors, that likely means parting ways with Jimmy Butler. That's a huge decision. Butler was just brought in to help maximize Steph's remaining prime years. Shipping him out so soon would be bold, risky, and potentially polarizing for the locker room. And then there's the elephant in the room. Would the Lakers really trade their franchise icon within the division? That's a tough pill to swallow for any front office, especially when it involves sending him to one of their fiercest rivals. Still, the fact that this conversation is even happening shows just how fluid LeBron's situation has become. Could this be LeBron's final season in purple and gold? For the first time since joining the Lakers in 2018, LeBron is heading into a contract year without an extension on the table. That's uncharted territory for both him and the franchise, and a signal that both sides may be preparing for change. Adding more intrigue, the Lakers have clearly shifted their focus toward building around Luka Doncic, who they landed in a blockbuster move earlier this summer. It's a powerful pivot toward the future, but it also leaves LeBron somewhat on the outside looking in. If he does want to keep playing beyond 2025-26, and all signs suggest he does, it's very possible he finishes his storied career somewhere else. A Warriors-LeBron union, fantasy or reality? Sure, the idea of LeBron joining the Warriors sounds like something out of NBA 2K, but think about it. One of the greatest players of all time, joining forces with another all-time great, to make one last run at a championship together? It's legacy-defining. It's emotional. And above all, it's possible. While a deal still feels unlikely, the door isn't shut. And with LeBron James, we've learned to never say never. The 2025-26 season could mark the end of an era in Los Angeles, or the beginning of something historic in the Bay Area. What would LeBron on the Warriors even look like? Let's imagine it for a moment. Stephen Curry and LeBron James, two generational icons, former MVPs, finals rivals turned teammates, wearing the same jersey, sharing the same court, chasing the same banner. From a basketball standpoint, it's a dream pairing. Curry's gravity and unselfishness perfectly complement LeBron's playmaking and size. Imagine a pick-and-roll between the two. Or LeBron orchestrating the offense while Curry runs wild off-ball. Defenses wouldn't know where to turn. For Golden State, it would be a win-now move of epic proportions, possibly the most ambitious in franchise history. A move that says, we're not just going to honor Steph's final years, we're going to chase one more ring, at all costs. But there's no denying the weight of such a move. Trading for LeBron means sacrifice, and not just financially. To bring in LeBron, the Warriors would almost certainly have to move Jimmy Butler, their biggest acquisition this summer. That would be a stunning about-face for a team that just sold fans on a new Curry-Butler core. It could also mean parting ways with one or more of their remaining young assets, especially if the Lakers demand sweeteners in any potential deal. Think Moses Moody, Brandon Podziemski, or even picks, all in exchange for a 40-year-old star. But this isn't just any 40-year-old. It's LeBron James. And he's still producing at an elite level. Last season, he averaged over 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists while playing in 70-plus games, an unheard-of workload for someone entering year 23. What this means for the Lakers. On the other side of the deal, the Lakers would be doing something almost unthinkable, trading away the face of their franchise. But with Luka Doncic now in the fold and the team entering a new era, it may be a strategic, though emotionally painful pivot. Losing LeBron would create a leadership vacuum, not to mention a commercial and branding void. But it would also free up cap space, potentially bring back younger talent, and give Luka more room to take the reins. If that's the direction the Lakers are heading anyway, doing right by LeBron and sending him somewhere he wants to go could be the classy exit he deserves. The ripple effects around the league. Make no mistake, if LeBron were traded to Golden State, it would shake the NBA to its core. The Western Conference would be instantly reshuffled. Media coverage would explode. Ticket prices would skyrocket. Every Warriors-Lakers game would become must-see TV. It would also trigger reactions across the league. Contenders like Denver, Phoenix, OKC, and Minnesota would feel the pressure to make countermoves. Role players and veterans would start lining up to join Golden State on minimum deals, chasing a ring alongside two legends. And for the fans? It would ignite debates, emotions, and storylines we haven't seen since the days of Miami's Big Three or Durant's move to the Bay. The clock is ticking, and the stakes are high. Right now, no official trade has been offered. No deal is imminent. But the Warriors are watching. LeBron is watching. And the league is holding its breath. The 2025-26 season might be LeBron James' last in the NBA, or at least his last as a Laker. Whether he retires in purple and gold, or ends his career in a Warriors jersey alongside Steph Curry, depends on what happens in the coming weeks. For now, one thing is clear, both Golden State and Los Angeles are standing at the edge of something massive. One bold decision could change NBA history, again. Luka Doncic has nothing but respect for LeBron James, and loves playing alongside him. There's no denying it, LeBron James' relationship with the Los Angeles Lakers is facing its most uncertain chapter yet. And at the center of that shifting dynamic? Luka Doncic. Ever since the Lakers pulled off a blockbuster trade to acquire Doncic from the Dallas Mavericks, the focus of the franchise has clearly tilted in a new direction. For the first time in years, it feels like LeBron isn't at the center of the Lakers' long-term vision, and that shift has not gone unnoticed. In fact, the situation hit a boiling point when the Lakers chose not to offer LeBron a contract extension, right as he was deciding whether to pick up his $52.6 million player option. For a player who has always maintained some control over his future, the silence from LA was deafening. LeBron will now enter this season on an expiring deal, something that's never happened in his career. It's no surprise then that rumors about LeBron's future are swirling again, with teams like the Golden State Warriors reportedly exploring trade possibilities. But here's the thing, whatever tension may exist between LeBron and the Lakers organization, it has nothing to do with Luka Doncic. Mutual respect, not rivalry. Despite the shifting power dynamics, LeBron and Luka share a deep respect and a real on-court chemistry. Luka's agent, Laura Beth Seeger, recently told ESPN's Ramona Shelburne, Luka loves playing with LeBron and has learned so much from him. He has the utmost respect for LeBron and considers it a privilege to be his teammate. That mutual admiration has been visible on the court. Their basketball IQs are off the charts. They see plays before they happen. Their styles may differ, but they complement each other in ways that few duos in NBA history have. But the timing? That's where things get complicated. Wrong era, right connection. If this pairing had happened 5 years earlier, the Lakers might have tried to build a long-term core around both stars. But LeBron turns 41 this season. And as much as he's still producing at a high level, the Lakers are clearly planning for the next decade, not just the next playoff run. They can't afford to give up key assets to build short-term rosters anymore. Not when Luka represents the next 10 years of the franchise. That's why, despite the strong relationship between Doncic and James, the Lakers are slowly, and perhaps uncomfortably, turning the page. And LeBron knows it. Warriors reignite trade interest. Enter the Golden State Warriors. LeBron's desire to compete now, made clear by his agent Rich Paul after he opted into the final year of his contract, has opened the door for other teams to make their move. And once again, Golden State is paying close attention. According to ESPN's Ramona Shelburne and Brian Windhorst, the Warriors have internally discussed making a trade offer for LeBron. It wouldn't be the first time. Similar talks reportedly took place last season, but never gained traction. This time, though, things feel different. LeBron's contract is expiring. The Lakers have made no extension offer. And the Warriors? They're in win-now mode, desperately looking for one last piece to support Stephen Curry. Could that piece be LeBron? He holds a no-trade clause, meaning he controls his destination, but teaming up with Curry would be hard to resist. It's a pairing built on mutual respect, shared championships, and a legacy-making opportunity. The bottom line. There's no friction between Luka and LeBron, only admiration and an elite basketball connection. But admiration alone won't keep them together forever. The Lakers are evolving. LeBron's clock is ticking. And the Warriors are circling. The question now is simple. Will the Lakers fully embrace the Luka era and let LeBron walk? Or will they find a way to give both stars the runway they need? One thing is certain, this season could define the legacy of both men, and reshape the future of the NBA. A LeBron trade would be seismic, but it's not just about basketball. If the Warriors were to pull off a deal for LeBron James, the impact would go far beyond XS and OS. It would represent a historic moment in NBA history, not just because of the names involved, but because of what it symbolizes: the merging of two dynasties, two legacies, and two of the most iconic players of all time. Think about it, LeBron and Steph, once rivals who defined a decade of NBA Finals, now teaming up for one last push. It's the kind of move that transcends basketball and becomes part of the cultural fabric of the league. But the business of making it happen is anything but simple. Contract logistics and locker room fallout. LeBron's $52.6 million salary is a massive hurdle. Any trade would require a near-perfect financial match, which likely means parting ways with Jimmy Butler, who was just acquired by the Warriors earlier this summer to form their next great duo with Curry. Losing Butler so soon would be a gut punch to fans and players alike. It would also require buy-in from LeBron himself, who has a full no-trade clause, meaning he'd have to want this deal as much as the front office does. And then there's the Lakers. Trading LeBron, especially to a Western Conference rival, would be controversial at best, explosive at worst. For an organization built on star power and tradition, the optics of sending away a four-time champion, one of the greatest players in league history, would be a tough sell to fans. It would signal a full commitment to Luka Doncic as the new face of the franchise, a decision they may be ready to make, but one they'd need to handle delicately. The bigger picture, legacy and timing. For LeBron, this crossroads is about more than just one final ring. It's about legacy. If this is truly his last season, what better way to go out than fighting alongside Steph Curry, the only other player of this era whose resume rivals his own. But even if LeBron wants to keep playing beyond 2026, the question remains, where does he see his final chapter unfolding? The Lakers have always felt like the right ending, until now. If Golden State offers the chance to compete, to matter in June, to play meaningful basketball one last time, and to do it with Steph, in front of the most passionate fanbase in the league, how does he say no? What happens next? At this point, no trade has been finalized, and there's no guarantee the Lakers will even entertain offers. But conversations have been had. Interest is real. And the league is watching closely. If a deal were to happen, it would likely occur before the February trade deadline, when teams make their final moves for a title run. Until then, expect more reports, more speculation, and more whispers. And don't be surprised if LeBron himself fuels the fire. He's long mastered the art of controlling narratives, and the closer we get to mid-season, the louder the questions will get. Will he re-sign with LA? Will he walk in free agency? Will the Lakers pull the trigger before he can? The stakes couldn't be higher. One way or another, we're watching the final chapters of one of the greatest careers in sports. And whether LeBron finishes in Los Angeles, San Francisco, or somewhere entirely unexpected, one thing is clear. The end is coming, and he wants to go out winning. LeBron James reportedly left out of Lakers ownership news, a sign of what's to come? The LeBron James era in Los Angeles might be entering its final chapter. If you are new here, leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. After opting into the final year of his contract for the 2025-26 season without an extension on the table, James made a quiet but calculated decision. A move that, for the first time in his Lakers tenure, suggests an eventual parting of ways may be closer than many expected. Historically, LeBron has used his player options as leverage, declining, renegotiating, and reasserting his influence. But this time, there was no new deal. No public push for changes. Just a silent agreement to return, and perhaps to prepare for the end. The arrival of Luka Doncic at last season's trade deadline changed everything. The Lakers didn't just acquire another superstar, they shifted the identity of the franchise. Luka became the future. LeBron, still one of the league's elite players, suddenly felt less like the centerpiece and more like a bridge between eras. A quiet omission raises eyebrows. One moment in particular has raised questions around the league about where LeBron truly stands with the Lakers front office. According to reporting by Ramona Shelburne and Brian Windhorst of ESPN, when the Buss family agreed to sell a majority stake in the franchise to billionaire investor Mark Walter on June 18, Doncic was informed immediately. He even posted a congratulatory message on social media. LeBron James, however, he was left out of the loop entirely. No notification. No post. No acknowledgement. For a player who's been the face of the franchise for nearly a decade, who delivered a championship and helped restore the Lakers' relevance, that silence is deafening. It's a clear signal, the Lakers' decision-making process is moving on without him. And while LeBron is no stranger to the business of basketball, even he may have been caught off guard by how blunt the message was. It's not personal, it's just business. That's the common refrain in NBA front offices. But when a player like LeBron James is excluded from one of the biggest organizational changes in years, it's hard not to read between the lines. No trade request, but all eyes are watching. To be clear, LeBron has not requested a trade. In fact, those close to him suggest he's still focused on trying to win one more championship in Los Angeles. But around the league, executives are watching closely. If the Lakers struggle out of the gate, or if it becomes clear the roster isn't built to contend, don't be surprised if conversations around LeBron's future heat up again. There have already been whispers. Teams have quietly checked in. Nothing serious, yet. But the reality is this, LeBron James doesn't have many years left. And he's not going to spend one of them on a team that isn't pushing for a title. The Cavaliers' training sighting? Nothing new, says LeBron. Adding fuel to speculation earlier this summer, LeBron was spotted training at the Cleveland Cavaliers facility, igniting a flurry of theories about a possible return to his hometown team. But James quickly downplayed the moment, saying it's simply part of his off-season routine. I go home to Akron every summer. That's always been where I get my work in. People read too much into it. Even so, the image of LeBron back in Cleveland, paired with whispers about his future and his recent silence on major Lakers news, has only added to the growing sense that change is in the air. Looking ahead, the 2025-26 season will likely be one of transition. Luka Doncic is now the franchise focal point, and the Lakers are clearly constructing their future around him. Meanwhile, LeBron James, once the defining force in LA, is playing without a long-term commitment, without a clear voice in ownership shifts, and perhaps for the first time, on borrowed time with the organization he once led to glory. If this is the final season in purple and gold, expect it to be anything but quiet. Ownership shift. What does Mark Walter mean for LeBron? The sale of a majority stake in the Lakers to Mark Walter represents more than just a financial transaction. It's a clear signal of a new era. Walter, co-founder of private equity firm Guggenheim Partners, is known for his hands-on approach to sports ownership. He also owns the Chicago Cubs. His arrival may bring fresh priorities, and it appears LeBron's voice is no longer front and center. League insiders suggest Walter's interests lean more toward business innovation, investing in analytics, global branding, and long-term sustainable success, rather than deferring to iconic players. It's a mandate shift that reaches far beyond basketball, and LeBron's absence from these conversations is telling. Fanbase reaction, divided emotions. Dub Nation, always passionate and vocal, has been split over the news. Traditionalists feel slighted by the apparent disregard for LeBron, arguing that his contributions, both on the court and in promoting the Lakers globally, deserved a personal heads-up and public recognition. New era supporters, however, see the changes as a necessary step toward building a future firmly centered on Luka Doncic, a player entering his prime and set to define the team's identity going forward. Local fan forums and social media have been abuzz. How do you not tell LeBron about selling majority ownership? He's the most important Laker in a decade. User Lakers for life. End of an era, start of a new one. Luka deserves a fresh slate without the shadow of LeBron. User Purple Fresh. Emotion is high, and what's clear is that the organization's silence on LeBron's exclusion only magnifies the tension. Roster construction, aligning with the future. Inspection of recent moves suggests the Lakers are already executing a strategic pivot. Contract offers, young players and role scorers have received priority deals, while veteran extensions tied to LeBron have been notably absent. Free agent targets. Priority appears to be given to players who complement Luka's pace and space approach, such as perimeter shooters, versatile bigs, and switchable defenders. Trade policy. The team seems increasingly open to dealing LeBron, not necessarily to move him immediately, but to reallocate assets in service of stronger long-term fits around Luka. These trends reinforce the message: the LeBron chapter is ending, and the Luka chapter is beginning. The broader NBA ramifications. For LeBron, his next move, whether it's staying in town for a final run, requesting a trade, or looking at retirement, will send shockwaves through the league. His decisions could impact player movement, endorsement shifts, and even franchise valuations. For the Lakers, hosting a 40-year-old star without a long-term plan is risky, but moving forward focused on Luka offers clarity and sustainability. It's a pivot with potential short-term pain but significant long-term upside. 4 NBA storylines. If LeBron leaves, a narrative vacuum opens in Los Angeles. Who replaces his role as the bridge between eras? And can the Lakers build a contender fast enough around Luka, Ayton, and a retooled young core? What's next for LeBron? As the season draws closer, eyes will remain fixed on several key developments. LeBron's preseason comments. Will he stay publicly supportive, or will hints of frustration emerge? Training camp roster structure. Will the Lakers lean into youth and perimeter talent, or do they create a roster that still caters to LeBron's strengths? Potential trade gets. Should LeBron request a trade or choose to retire, expect a swift ripple through the league. The Lakers might owe him no favors, but smart front offices could. Final takeaway. We're watching a pivotal transition unfurl. A legend in LeBron James may be stepping away from the Lakers just as another star, Luka Doncic, takes the reins. For fans, teammates, and rival executives, the question isn't just what happens on the court next season. It's whose era is it going to be? LeBron's legacy is secure. But this off-season feels less like a farewell tour and more like a turning point, one with consequences both emotional and strategic that we're only beginning to see. LeBron James has yet to welcome DeAndre Ayton to the Lakers, and that silence speaks volumes. As DeAndre Ayton begins a new chapter with the Los Angeles Lakers, there's one welcome message that still hasn't come through, and it's from the team's biggest name, LeBron James. Warm reception. But not from everyone. Earlier this week, Ayton was officially introduced as the Lakers' new starting center. The 26-year-old big man was all smiles during his media availability and spoke openly about the overwhelming support he's already received from fans. The love has been crazy, Ayton told ESPN. I hadn't even put on the jersey yet, and the fans were already blowing up my inbox. It means a lot. But when asked if any Lakers players had reached out personally to welcome him, Ayton paused. He admitted he hadn't heard from LeBron James, though he did receive a message from Luka Doncic. Still waiting on LeBron, Ayton said with a shrug. Luka hit me up. But I get it, LeBron's probably just busy. That may sound like a throwaway comment, but given the circumstances surrounding LeBron's uncertain future with the team, it adds yet another layer to a growing narrative. Is LeBron already emotionally checked out? A departure in tone. Traditionally, LeBron has gone out of his way to welcome new teammates. Just this past February, he personally reached out to Luka Doncic after his blockbuster trade to LA, even as LeBron was still processing the departure of longtime running mate Anthony Davis. So the lack of acknowledgement toward Ayton, especially from a player known for his leadership and calculated presence on social media, hasn't gone unnoticed. In fact, some league insiders believe the silence is more than just a scheduling issue. It could be yet another subtle sign that LeBron is preparing to move on, possibly even before the 2025-26 season begins. Ayton's excitement is Luka-driven. Fortunately for the Lakers, Ayton doesn't seem fazed by LeBron's silence, because for him, the Real draw was Luka Doncic. Ayton and Doncic were both part of the 2018 NBA draft class, Ayton going no. 1 overall, Luka at no. 3. While their careers have taken different paths, this is the first time the two rising stars will suit up together. "This is the moment I've been waiting for," Ayton said. "Playing with Luka? That's a dream. I'm not here to make headlines, I'm here to win. And Luka gives us a real shot at doing that." Known in Phoenix for moments of inconsistency and locker room drama, Ayton says he's turned a corner. Now, paired with a player like Luka, someone he respects both professionally and personally, Ayton is determined to make the most of this fresh start in Los Angeles. A shift in leadership. Whether or not LeBron reaches out eventually, one thing is becoming clear: Luka is the new leader of the Lakers. He's already engaging with teammates, aligning with the front office, and embracing the responsibility that comes with being the face of a storied franchise. LeBron may still be under contract, but the energy around the team is shifting. From ownership changes to roster moves, the Lakers are clearly preparing for a post-LeBron future, and players like Ayton are buying in. As for LeBron, his next move remains one of the NBA's biggest unanswered questions. But if his silence is any indication, the farewell tour might have already begun, quietly and without a message.